How's it going, guys? Welcome back to GVN, and in this video we'll be talking about the new Five Nights at Freddy's 3 teaser trailer that was released today. I don't think I've talked about that much in this channel, but I'm a really big fan of the series. Not just the game itself, but the lore. I love the story behind this, and if you guys don't know the story and just know about the way the gameplay works, there's a really awesome story behind this series, so highly recommend visiting the wiki page or the dedicated subreddit for this game. It's awesome. And that's what initially I didn't really think much of this game. I just thought it was a horror game that, had some scares here and there, and it was a neat game, but just a fad or something. Once I gave it a chance and actually dove into the story behind this, that's when I really got into the game, started playing them, and now I'm pretty much hooked on them. So I'm really excited to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's 3 and some things I noticed about the trailer and a couple of screenshots that were released today. So starting off with the trailer, the first shot we see is of a hallway of the original Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Parlor or place, showing off drawings of all the different animatronics with children. We see all the toy animations or animatronics, all the original animatronics, and even like the marionette there. And we just see a bunch of different drawings, presumably made by kids of their favorite animatronics. Then we see the following text that says, "He will come back." And I'm assuming this indicates the purple guy or the killer in the original Five Nights at Freddy's, actually Five Nights at Freddy's 2, who killed all the children at the pizza place. So I'm assuming this indicates him, if not him himself, but like his soul will be coming back. And you'll see why I think that later in this trailer. But we also see, following that, the shot of what appears to be like an arcade machine. That's what I think it is. And I'm assuming this kind of references Five Nights at Freddy's 2. In that game, we play like a little mini game, like where we see little Atari versions of all the characters, and you play little mini games that kind of tell the backstory of the whole series. And this might be that arcade machine that we play. And then following that, we see another text that says "he always does," meaning he will come back. He always does. And I think it's just a reoccurring event that the killer has always been there within Five Nights at Freddy's 2, 1, and now even 3, probably just in different forms. So I'm assuming this indicates that the main antagonist will still be the purple guy or the killer. So following this, we get a pan shot of Bonnie, Freddy, and Chica. And what we see is Bonnie has eyes, so does Chica, but Bonnie's eye moves towards the camera, which is a little freaky. But we also see that Freddy is missing his eyes. I'm not really sure what to think about this yet so far, but it probably hints to the point that maybe the purple guy was sort of in possession of these animatronics previously, hinting that he's always been here. And then we see the following text that says that we have a place for him this time, or we have a place for him. And then we get the shot of the new animatronic that looks like a golden Bonnie, but it's not a golden Bonnie. What I think this is like a Frankenstein version of different parts of all the animatronics. And I think this thing is possessed by the murderer or the purple guy, because we see it kind of like reacting. The footage that we see is like him kind of twitching, and it looks like he's coming to life in a sense. And while it zooms into its eyes, and I just think this is like most likely the fact that this animatronic was like scavenged with parts around all the other animatronics, and it came to form this new animatronic that ended up being possessed by the purple guy. And once again, he's back. And so finally we see the final shot with the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 logo, and then the jump scare or the new like walk-in scare of the new animatronic. So my final thoughts on this, I assume that this new animatronic is just Frankenstein put together with all the different parts from like Bonnie, Chica, and all the other animatronics, and it's being possessed by the murderer or the soul of the purple guy. Now before we start analyzing the screenshots for this game, there was a Steam Greenlight page that went up earlier today talking about the game. It gives us some information about the story behind Five Nights at Freddy's 3, and I'll have a link to that in the description below. But what we know so far is that this game takes place after Five Nights at Freddy's or Five Nights at Freddy's 1. And the way the story goes is Five Nights at Freddy's 2 was a prequel, then there's Five Nights at Freddy's 1, and now this will be taking place 30 years after Five Nights at Freddy's 1. And what happens is that basically after the events of Five Nights at Freddy's, the place is shut down, and a couple of people want to turn the legend of Five Nights at Freddy's into this horror attraction, like a haunted house basically. And so 30 years later, they go to the abandoned pizza place, and they kind of scrap all the parts of all the animatronics, what else they could find that was left there, and they build this horror attraction. So what happens is they find all these missing parts. For example, the description of the Greenlight page actually references they find old empty shells, a hook, an old paper plate doll, and that's it. But then a remarkable discovery was made, and now they have one animatronic. So what I'm assuming happened was they found all these like different parts. They probably Frankenstein together an animatronic, and it didn't work. And then suddenly one day it just started working, and there we go. And I'm assuming why it started working was the fact that the soul of the purple guy, or somehow the purple guy, is possessing this new animatronic. Perhaps it could also be the souls of the children that were killed back in 1987 or in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Now, the way I think this game is going to work in terms of story is that the creators of this horror attraction are going to have this working animatronic now, and they're going to open it up to the public. People are going to come in, they're going to start enjoying the horror attraction. It's going to go fine, and then suddenly, like in one case or in one case scenario, the animatronic actually kills somebody, and that is you playing the game. So that's how I think this is going to work. There's a couple of screenshots that were released on the Steam page that weren't in the trailer, and that show off like a better look of how the game is going to play. So the first screenshot we see is of the new office where you're going to be playing, or where you're going to be stationed at. We see the little box of different shells of the animatronics that we see in the original teaser image for Five Nights at Freddy's 3. We also see a couple of drawings that children have made over time for their favorite animatronics. On the desk of the office are some little toy figures of the animatronics, like such as Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy. But also next to them is a little white like ball thing, and it's really hard to tell, but there's two little pink circles on it, which makes me believe it's the marionette. But it's also interesting is if you look in the trash can, you could kind of make out the shape of the mask of the marionette, which means it's probably like the actual real mask of the marionette. If you zoom in closely, you can see the eyes, and you can even see the pink cheeks. The new camera system also seems to be more robust. You can see that the camera system can completely fail. There's audio devices that could turn off. The whole camera system can fail, and there's even a ventilation error. So that means that maybe that can show that the animatronic can go through the vents just like it could previously. It'll tell you when there's an error inside the vents, or maybe perhaps this is a new feature in the game. There was a cutout feature from Five Nights at Freddy's 2 that was supposed to feature a toxin meter, so perhaps that has been brought back into Five Nights at Freddy's 3, and the ventilation is kind of like a hint about that. Now there's also two screenshots featuring the camera in action. One of them shows that there's like different shells of the animatronics going on throughout the hallways. So one of them shows Freddy with like a glowing eye. Presumably maybe it's like an empty shell that acts as like just a feature of the hallway. It's just there for decoration. Who knows, it might be possessed as well. But there's also another screenshot showing Foxy back as well. There's a shell of him, and there's a light in the opposite eye. So maybe this is just decoration for the hallway. Maybe they're possessed, who knows. But that's an interesting thing that I noticed between the two different screenshots. There also seems to be this little dot pattern going on at the bottom left of the camera. So when you're looking at the security cameras, there's like little dots that show up. I'm not really sure what they're for yet, but maybe they're hinting to a new meter system, perhaps a ventilation system. And finally, the last screenshot is of the new animatronic itself. Just like it was in the trailer, just a little bit more brightened up, so you could see things much more clear. And you can actually see the torso of Freddy in the background of the animatronic. And it just shows that there's throughout the place you're going to see a lot of shells of empty animatronics there. I'm not sure if it's there for decoration or if it's possessed, but most likely I'm assuming that it moves around because we just saw it in the screenshot previously with its eyes glowing before, and that was in a different hallway, and now it turns out to be right behind this new animatronic at your office. So who knows, maybe this, although there's one new animatronic that seems to be the only moving character, it looks like a bunch of other things will be moving around the office as well, and not just this one animatronic that you have to worry about. And that does it for my trailer and screenshot analysis and all the information revealed for this game today. So if you guys liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more information on this game. I'm just really invested into this series, so you'll find me occasionally on the subreddit just kind of lurking and reading all the fan theories and all the posts about like someone finding out a new detail in a screenshot or like the HTML code of the website for the game. So I'm just really invested into this. But if you guys liked the video, share it with your friends. If you guys are big fans of the series like I am, feel free to go in the comments and tell me your theories about this. I love speculating the story about this, and I'm just really excited to experience what turns out to be what might be the final chapter of Five Nights at Freddy's. So thank you all very much for watching the video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Later.
Oh my god.
You got that counter already?
That's
my second counter.
Yeah. You hate
Fuck
counters
your
in
counter.
general, right?
Oh yeah.